Hi, everyone. I'm Jan with the Prince George County Memorial Library System. Thank you for joining us for another Children's Virtual Readers Advisory. Now, some of the books I'm going to be talking about, you can download them as e-books. And I'm going to show you how to do it in case you're not really sure. So, okay. So here we are at the home page. And how you get to it is PGCMLS.info. If you can't remember the letters, don't worry, just type in Prince George's County Memorial Library System and it will come up with this page. And, whoops, let me come to Overdrive. You'll see Overdrive. Here's catalog, which means if you just want to see if we have a book, you can come over to your account. So, but we're going to go to we're going to go to Overdrive. Now, I happen to be signed in already, but let's say, you want to find an ebook. Over here, well, you can search different ways. You can search by subject, collections, kids' books, teens, Spanish, romance, adult books. But let me do search, and then let me type in a title. Let me see. Brown bear, brown bear, brown bear. What do you see? Okay, so as you see right here, it comes up with two different titles because I don't know why. Anyway, in this case, it says place a hold. Sometimes it'll say borrow and you can borrow it right away. But either way, you would click on this phrase, whether it says borrow or place a hold. And then after you typed in your account, you will see this, brown bear, what do you see? And it says your holds position number 1 on 1 copy. It could be, 2 on 2 books, whatever. Anyway, so there's several, this is a bilingual book. That's why there's 2 of them. Anyway, the nice thing, or at least one reason about ebooks is that you can check it out for 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. And if you checked it out this second and decided you want it for a week, 7 days from now, at exactly this time, it disappears on your card, off your card. So no worries about, oh, I dropped it in water. Oh, my dog ate it. Oh, I have no clue where it is. Just it'll disappear. So, but another reason that it's nice is you can make the print larger because one, for the kids, if it's a kid's book, over 80% of kids who have problems reading have a hard time reading. If you make the print bigger, it's easier for them to read, not get lost in where are they because you call them. They retain the information more and they finish the actual book. And then for folks like us who need reading glasses, if you do what I tend to do, where's my glasses? Where are my glasses? I can't find them. No worries, make the print bigger, and wherever your glasses are, you'll probably find them later. So that's 2 reasons why I like ebooks. I also like regular books too. But anyway, I am going to start with a book. And then let me get over to this. Okay, this book is by Katie Camilla, PGCMLS. It's called Mercy Watson to the Rescue, and it's illustrated by Chris Van Dusen. Now, Miss DiCamillo is only one of 6 people who won 2 Newbery Medal Awards. And this award is given out to the author of the most distinguished contribution to American literature for children's books written in the past year. And this happens to be the first in a series about Mercy Watson, the pig. But not any pig, a porcine wonder, according to her owners, Mr. and Mrs. Watson. And Mercy jumps on her owner's bed with them in it, and the bed slowly sinks through the floor. Mercy makes her escape. She's going to get help, right? Or does she go to the neighbor's house to get their sugar cookies? Read this story to see if Mercy helps her owners. Then check out the other 5 books in the series. Mercy Watson is an easier read for younger children, but it's not an easy first book. It is a J. Okay, so now let me get to my next book. And this book, the overriding series name is Elements of Genius. This particular title is called Nicky and the Ferret-Proof Death Ray by Jess Keating. And I read the second book. You don't necessarily have to read them in order, but personally I like reading them in order because then I get an idea of the characters being set up. Okay. Have any of you invented an instrument of global destruction? Well, Nicky, who's a genius, has, and it's a death ray, which accidentally blows up her building with the help of her pet ferret, Pickles. After she's been expelled from every school she's gone to, Nicky, who has a terrible secret, is sent to the only place that can handle her, Genius Academy, a school for history's greatest brains. Leo da Vinci, Charlotte Darwin, Bert Einstein, among others. As usual, Nicky doesn't want the other 6 students to know her secret and feels out of place at the school. When her death ray is stolen, Nicky and her fellow classmates must track down the thief. But will the other students trust her when they find out her secret? As time goes on, will Nicky learn they do trust her and it takes all of them to capture the thief? They must work together. Okay, and again, this is Nicky Tesla and the Ferret-Proof Death Ray by Jess Keating. Okay, my next book is called Stuffed, and it's by Liz Braswell. Again, it's called Stuffed by Liz Braswell. Have you ever been too old to be doing something? Well, Clark, who's almost 11, gets told that all the time because he likes his stuffies. Bullies constantly pick on him, and his mom tries to wean him off his stuffed animals. Though Clark doesn't know why at first, he believes his stuffies protect him and the family. One day, his mom sets up a play date for him with another boy his age, D.A. D as in duck, A as in apple. Turns out D.A. likes stuffies too, and that's the end of any play dates for those 2. So good old mom decides Clark has to go to summer camp for a week with no stuffies. Before going off to camp, Grandma gives him a stuffy so that Clark can take it with him. Mom doesn't like that one. D.A. is leaving camp just as Clark shows up, and he tells Clark to find Catherine Lucille. After finding Catherine Lucille, Clark finally understands that, yes, there are monsters and stuffies do protect them. So can his new stuffy learn the ways of protecting his people, his human people? And can he help Clark save his family? I think you will enjoy reading this story. Okay. Again, it is called Stuffed by Liz Braswell. Okay, now let me go back to an ebook. And go. Second, share. Okay. This book is called Amini's Voice by Hannah Khan. Hannah Khan. This story is the Washington Post Best Children's Book for 2017. And according to Booklist, this story is a compassionate, timely novel. When Anime gets into middle school, everything starts to change. For example, her best friend starts hanging out with the in-girls. Then she starts thinking maybe she should change her name to something more American to hide who she really is and fit in. As Amina struggles with these questions, her mosque is vandalized, leaving her devastated. Can Amina find her voice to bring a diverse community together again? Entertainment Weekly says, Amin's anxieties are entirely relatable, but it's her sweethearted nature that makes her such a winning protagonist. Okay, now, and as I've shared before in my other story times, not story time, Reader's Advisory, I have read all the books that I'm talking about, so I like all books. I would not just read a story. Okay, let's see. Okay, this one is called President of the Whole Sixth Grade by Sherry Winston. This novel is actually the second novel of the President book series, but you don't need to read this series in order. It's like the other book I told you about, where, yes, if you read it in order, the characters build on each other in each book, but there still are standalone books. And this is very similar to the other book I just told you about, Amina's Voice by Helen Khan. So, because also Brianna and her friends move into middle school, and she too realizes things can change very suddenly. Her best friends also have moved on to the in crowd, and Bree feels alone. As president of the sixth grade class, she needs to help raise enough money for her classmates to go to Washington, D.C., a trip that has happened for the past 20 years. Unfortunately, Brianna's classmates are not what they seem, and one student in particular wants his younger brother to be president of the sixth grade. Brianna finds that some surprises are good ones and turn out better than she had planned. Again, I think you will like this story. Okay, let's go on to, let's see here, we are going to do, oops, okay, let's get back to this. And, okay, this book is called Clean Getaway by the #1 New York Times best selling author Nick Stone. How many people do you know who get locked down by their father during spring break from school? Scoob does, and now his big trip is a no-go. That is until Gma sells her house, buys a motorhome, and starts a trip to set straight a past mistake. Moreover, she wants Scoob to go with her. Therefore, he grabs the essential, such as the green book, but not a cell phone. You can't have Dad calling you on this trip. Dad's mom is white and married an African American during a time when the law said people couldn't do that. So, join Gma and Scoop as a journey through the backdrop of the segregated history of American South. Scoop discovers the world hasn't always been a welcoming place for kids like him. Okay, another good story. Let me do this, and then I am going to get into another ebook. Okay. Theodore Bill is the arching overall series title by John Grissom. And as many of you adults potentially know, Mr. Grissom has written many adult books, and now he tries his hand at children's book. Right now, there are 7 books in this series, and I personally am hoping for number 8 soon. Again, it's Theodore Boone, which is the overriding series title. This one is called Kid Lawyer. Theo, who lives in a small town with his parents, who happen to be lawyers, and he dreams of becoming a trial lawyer and being in the courtroom. While he helps his fellow students with their issue, he finds himself in court much sooner than he thought. Theo knows too much and finds a murder is on trial and might get off. Theo must work hard to find the evidence to convict the murderer. The stakes are high, but Theo won't stop until justice is served. Yeah, another good series that I happen to like. Okay, let me go on to my next book. Again, another series. The arching title is The Great Shelby Holmes. And it's by Elizabeth Eulberg. Again, it's called The Great Shelby Holmes. Is friendship the biggest mystery for this super sleuth? So this is a twist on Sherlock Holmes. Who is Shelby Holmes? Yes. Shelby Holmes may be only 4 feet tall and bossy. She's also the best detective her Harlem neighborhood has ever seen. When 11-year-old John Watson moves downstairs, Shelby finds something that's eluded her up to now, a friend. The easygoing John isn't sure what to make of Shelby, but he soon finds out himself to be her most trusted and only partner in a dog napping case that will take both of their talents to crack. And again, this is called The Great Shelby Holmes by Elizabeth Eulberg. And again, you don't have to read them in order, though I tend to read them in order, but whatever you choose is okay. Now, let me go on to my next book. This one's has a little bit more pages in them, a little more pages. So it's called The Missing Piece of Charlie O'Reilly by Rebecca K.S. Ansari. Again, that's The Missing Piece of Charlie O'Reilly by Rebecca K.S. Ansari. Charlie is an only child, or is he? For some reason, he keeps talking about Liam, a brother nobody remembers, which has many people concerned. The only one who believes Charlie is his best friend, Anna, even though she too doesn't remember Liam. When Charlie finds a note written in Liam's handwriting, Charlie must follow the instructions to the T, or to a T, meaning exactly as it's written. Elena K. Arnold, a National Book Award finalist, says, as puzzles pieces click into place, the missing piece of Charlie O'Reilly reveals its secrets and family that makes us whole. A deeply satisfying and beautiful book. And there's kind of a surprise ending that I would never have guessed. So let me go on to my next book. This book is an historical book. It's called The War That Saved My Life by Kimberly Brubaker Bradley. Again, The War That Saved My Life by Kimberly Brubaker Bradley. And the story won the Newbery Medal Honor Book, and it's also the winner of the 2016 Schneider Family Book Award. And like I said, it's an historical book. The characters are made up, but the story takes place in England during World War II. And this story is called Powerful by the Horn Book with Starred Review. And the story is also called Brisk and Honest, Cause for Celebration by Kirkus with another starred review. 10-year-old Ada has never stepped out of her one-bedroom apartment where she lives with her mother and brother. Ada has a club foot that has never been fixed, and her mother is very ashamed of Ada. Because of the war, her brother is sent to live far away from the dangers of the bombing. Even though Ada isn't sent along with her brother, she finds a way to join him on a farm. As the two siblings settle in and finally feel safe, they get an unexpected visit from their cruel mother. Will they have to go back to the city with the mother, or can they stay and finally feel cared for? I think you're going to like this book. So, okay, now on to the next book. It's called Every Tiny Spark by Paulo Cartaya. Again, this is called Each Tiny Spark by Paulo Cartari. For those of you who want to learn Spanish, bring out your Spanish dictionary, because there are phrases in here that are in Spanish, not the whole book, but there are some. And I want to understand more Spanish. So I was looking up the phrases so I can understand what was being said. And this book has won a Schneider Family Honor Award for a book that embodies an artistic expression of the disability experience for children and adolescents. Among other things, Amelia Torres longs for her father to come home from deployment. When he finally does come home, he has PTSD from his experience during his time in the military. Instead of things going back to normal, her dad locks himself in their garage, spending time welding an old car that he wants to fix up. But finally, just as Amelia's dad starts to teach her how to weld, Things in her community start to break down because the school district is talking about busing students from other school districts to Amelia's school. Follow this story to see if Amelia and her friends can have different opinions and still be friends. I certainly think personally that we can have different opinions and still be friends. Okay, and again, this is called Each Tiny Spark. Okay, and then this book is called Just Like Jackie by Lindsay Stoddard. Hopefully I'm saying her name right. Just Like Jackie by Lindsay Stoddard. In this story about Alzheimer's disease, Robbie Hart knows she and her grandpa must look like an odd couple. Robbie doesn't care that she has pale skin and blonde hair and grandpa has a dark complexion. He's her only family. Grandpa doesn't like to talk about his family, and as his memory gets worse, Robbie is scared he will soon forget his family and her too. Even when Robbie gets into trouble at school and must go to a school therapy group, she doesn't want to talk about her grandfather. She fears they'll learn about his Alzheimer's disease and separate the two of them. Journey with Robbie as she learns how to deal with her grandfather's Alzheimer's and how to deal with bullies. And I want to thank everyone for joining. And I hope you pick up at least some of these books. As I always like to remind everyone, I read the stories first and then I talk about them. So thank you again for joining us for another virtual Children's Readers Advisory.